Security factors in the virtualized server environment. Virtualization is one of the biggest areas of growth in the computer industry today. It's being used by all sectors, including the state and local government. Whenever bringing new technology into the data center, the problem of security should be considered. In this presentation, we'll define how virtualization is being used in server rooms around the country and the security measures one should take before embarking on a virtualization project. The market leader in the data center virtualization field is VMware. VMware's virtualization technology is categorized as full virtualization. It uses a piece of software called a hypervisor, which acts as a middleman between the server's physical hardware and the disk storage. Once a hypervisor, such as VMware's vSphere 4.0, is put in place, it allows virtual machines to be created. The virtual machine's operating system is completely unaware of the underlying server's hardware. This type of hardware allows a greater utilization of server hardware resources such as CPU and RAM. You can also use multiple operating systems such as Windows Server 2003 and Linux on one machine at the same time. Organizations are implementing this technology for a number of different reasons. One of the biggest reasons is cost. Virtualization allows companies to lower their hardware costs by running many virtual servers on one physical server. This reduces the number of physical servers an organization has to buy, which in turn reduces cooling and energy costs as well. Also, since the virtual machines are independent of the hardware they're running on, it's easy to create disaster recovery scenarios. For instance, at my job at Onslow County Government, we have 3 PowerEdge R900s running our VMware cluster at our main site. At a remote site, we have 5 Dell PowerEdge 2950s, which also run VMware. These machines have different CPUs and also different size of RAM and disk space. Since we're replicating our VMware disk volumes over to our remote site at regular intervals, if we had a disaster at our main site, we could bring up the virtual machines at our remote site in a matter of minutes. Now that we've discussed what virtualization is and how it's being used in the workplace, let's talk about the security concerns that exist in virtualized environments. The first problem we'll talk about is one that affects any computer environment. If you have a virtual machine running Windows Server 2003, it needs this monthly security update supplied just like a normal server running the same operating system. The flexibility that hypervisors like VMware provide can cause another problem. At any point in time, using VMware's management client, you can take a snapshot of any particular operating system. Usually these snapshots are taken before a software upgrade or before security updates are applied. If the update causes a problem, you can just roll back to the restore point. This especially becomes a problem when a long period of time goes by before rolling back to a snapshot. Reverting back to a snapshot also rolls back any security updates that were installed since the snapshot was taken. Also, any configuration changes that were made since the snapshot was taken are rolled back. To avoid these problems, organizations should have policies in place to dictate how long snapshots are taken or kept. Also, any updates applied or configuration changes once a snapshot is taken should be well documented. This next slide you can see the way to make a snapshot inside of the VMware client. Another security problem is portability. When viewing the files that make up a virtual machine, there are usually under 10. There's a configuration file, then usually a few other files that make up the virtual hard disk. It will be easy for an attacker with access to the disk storage to copy an entire server to a large USB device or other type of portable storage. This will be similar to stealing an entire physical server. To prevent against this, access to disk storage where VMs are stored should be limited as much as possible. The last security problem we'll talk about is migration. In virtualized environments such as VMware, you have the ability to migrate a virtual machine from one physical host to another with minimal, if any, downtime. In VMware, this is called vMotion. During these migrations, data is sent in clear text between the two hosts, making a man-in-the-middle attack on the hypervisor possible. To prevent this, securing the underlying network is key. In conclusion, many of the security concerns that are present in non-virtual server environments are also present in virtual server environments. All servers, whether physical or virtual, should have all vendor-supplied security updates applied. Also, the disk storage for the virtual environment should be treated like physical access to a server room because of the inherent portability. Lastly, network links that connect virtual hosts should be secured as much as possible.